We're here on MASN All Access with Buck Britton, manager of the Bowie Baysox. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Thanks for coming out.
So I've heard that you were the first Bowie Baysox manager to have ever played for the Baysox. You were here a couple times, going back and forth between Norfolk. You were drafted by the Orioles back in 2008. You have a long history with this organization.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing to have been in this in Bowie for that long, but no, man, it's my time here was awesome. Obviously, being drafted by the Orioles. Having kind of a history there with, my brother, who everybody knows. So it was nice, and this organization's been nothing but good to me.
What was it like having a brother who was drafted a couple years earlier than you in the same organization?
Yeah, at first it sucked that he was a younger brother. I had to explain that to people. He's always ahead of me, but he's my younger brother. But it was nice. Eventually we got to play with each other here in Bowie and in Norfolk. To share the field with him. Those are times that I think both of us will remember for forever.
Absolutely, a great family tradition there. You were a 35th rounder when you were selected, and you made it all the way up to AAA several times. Kind of an underdog story. Were you surprised by your own success to get that high?
I knew the hard work that I was putting in, so I don't know if I was surprised. It's just one of those things that when the odds are stacked against you, I kind of had that personality my whole life, kind of being an undersized player. I have a story of my dad had a travel team that I played on a year up with my older brother, and I sat the bench. He wouldn't even play me. He was like, "Well, you're not as good as the other players." So that kind of,
it's honest.
Yeah, he was honest, and that kind of helped me, throughout my life, I guess, and throughout my career. And it was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, and then you get into coaching in 2017 in this organization. And already you're moving up the chain, and your first year here in Bowie. How has it been adjusting to life here in Bowie and getting this managerial job at the highest level so far?
Yeah, no, just for the opportunity. There's a lot of people that would like to be where I'm at, so it's definitely a blessing, and I don't take it for granted one day. But it's exciting, just to get back to this level of play, to be around guys that are so close to the big leagues. And to see the talent it's exciting, man. It really is. And this is kind of a level for me in my development where things start to speed up a little bit, and you gotta think ahead and be ready to manage the bullpen and stuff like that. So this has been an awesome experience.
And you have seen this organization at many different stages. Obviously, you come here in 2008. You go through 3 playoff seasons at the major league level. And the whole organization now, within the past year, has gone through a pretty big upheaval, adding Mike Elias and such. How have you seen this organization change since over a decade ago, since you got drafted?
Yeah, it's been crazy. We've had, I think I've had 2 GMs, 2 big league managers, 3 now. It's just the transition. When Buck came in, everybody's got their own way of doing things. When Buck came in, he changed the atmosphere of the whole organization, and he had a ton of success. And now this new regime's coming in a rebuild situation here where we're at, and I was able to spend the spring training in the big leagues with those guys, and just the energy those guys bring, and the excitement that they bring to the park, and with Elias and Hyde together, the way they feed off each other it's exciting. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of years to kind of see where Baltimore goes.
Nice. How was that experience being in the spring training camp with the big league team?
It was great. I know most of the guys up there. I either played with them or I know them through Zach.
Right.
But just to get that chance to get together with the new staff, from Hyde to Cousins, John Wasden, who was a pitching coordinator down here, Brocale. I know the Flo up there and Jose. Just the energy, I said, and the excitement those guys bring to the yard. It's hard not to, as a player, I would imagine, not to want to get up and play hard for those guys.
Yeah, and was it a vote of confidence for you, the fact that Mike Elias and this new regime come in, and one of the first things they do is promote from within? You get bumped up, Gary Kendall gets bumped up, everybody gets a promotion pretty much. Was that a good vote of confidence for you?
Yeah, anytime you're wanted, I guess, is huge. Yeah. But yeah, for them to believe in me at a young age, that they think that I was the right guy for this spot, that means a lot, and it gives me some self-confidence to go out there and continue to do what I do.
Absolutely, and they've made some changes, obviously, increasing the analytical presence throughout every level of the organization. I heard you guys have added some bat sensors. You guys have put an extra emphasis on looking at how a pitcher pitches, his spin rate and such. What kind of changes have you made in the analytics department?
Just kind of gathering the information. That's been the biggest thing for me because I wasn't exposed to this as a player. But these guys, they've made it so easy, and they've made the environment so comfortable for us. Bringing the analytics in and kind of walking us through it in a way. But really, what it is it's just more information to help us coach these players, give them other options to go look. Not just to take my word for things, to go to the information and show them, what it's showing. And so I think it helps both the coach and player relationship.
Right.
And ultimately, you build trust with the player, and then they'll start listening to you, and that's when you start things kind of catapulting.
So they've responded pretty well overall?
I think so. The new bat sensors, I think with hitting it's a little different. They're trying to gather as much information as they can on these swings and stuff. But the players have bought into it. They're able to go look at their attack angle and all these things. On the pitching side, man, that's where I think I've seen the biggest increase in information, just the usage of stuff. Chris Holt, the pitching coordinator, brought that stuff in from Houston, and guys are really buying into it. And you can see that they have a purpose when they go out to the mound every day, and so I think it's good for everybody.
It's good to see. Yeah. And you guys have gone with the 6-man rotation, correct?
Yeah, we have.
What was the impetus behind that decision, and how has it worked out for you?
I think we had so many guys that they wanted to stretch out. I think it was a good problem to have if you can go to a 6-man. We had some tandems in there, and it's been great. We've had a couple of guys get injured and are now coming back, but it's something. You're light in the bullpen, but you have the coverage in those innings, so it makes it a little easier.
Nice. And you have obviously a mix here of guys like the Yusniel Diaz, and you did have Austin Hayes before, of guys that are seen as prospects, true prospects of the organization that are definitely on their way up. Then you've got guys that, much like when maybe you were a player and maybe fewer expectations, but still have a whole lot of potential and still really produce. Do you find yourself managing or coaching those guys differently depending on, if they're true prospects as opposed to guys that are maybe career minor leaguers?
Right. I try not to. I try to treat everybody the same. Just because in this game it's crazy. You just never know who the next guy is. I mean, look at Trey Mancini. Who was talking about Trey Mancini six years ago, right? Yeah. So you just never know, and I've seen it too many times where the guy that's under the radar becomes a solid big league player. So I try to treat everybody at the same level because everybody is still in the process of development, whether you're the top prospect or you're nowhere on the board anywhere. So they're all the same.
Exactly. It's a good way to look at it. And obviously, as a manager, I'm sure you love to look at the wins and losses and to really value the wins and how you guys do at the end of the day. But how much of your job do you consider, all right, if I develop this guy, I helped this guy move up within the organization, I helped him figure something out, is that a win for you that might not show up on the win-loss record, but personally, does that feel good?
Yeah, the wins and losses as a manager, obviously that goes on the back of your coaching baseball card per se. But yeah, it's more than that. Our job down here is to develop players that can go help the major league team win. And I think with Elias knows these guys, that's the emphasis. Wins and losses, of course. Winning is better than losing, right? But our job down here is to develop these players so that when it comes time for Baltimore to have their success, these guys are part of it and they're ready. And
when you see somebody like an Austin Hayes get the promotion so quickly, somebody who is clearly on his way up, that's got to be a good feeling for you as well.
Yeah, I can't take too much credit for Hayes because his first full season of pro ball, he got to the big leagues at A-ball. But I can say when he was down here, I mean, that guy he sets an example for the rest of the guys. The way he plays the game, the way he goes about his business. A guy it's been there. He's had a taste of it so early, and he got sent back. He had a spring training injury, but he got sent back to Double-A, and he really didn't change as a person or a player. And there's a lot of respect that goes into watching guys do that.
And when you look at this starting rotation too, going with that 6-man rotation, you've seen so many guys have career years. Bruce Zimmerman is going to be on the mound tonight. How much have you seen from those starters? They've been, from what you've said, open to changing their games based on the analytics that you guys have given them. Do you see a lot of good young players in that starting rotation?
I do. Our starting pitching has kind of been the saving grace for us, if you will. We've had our struggles offensively, but our starting pitching has really been solid all year. Zimmerman, a guy he's arguably been our best pitcher, most consistent pitcher all season long. But you look up and down. You know, you look at these ERAs that guys are throwing out. Lowther, up until his last start, was sub 2. You know, Wells has got a sub 2, and Zimmerman's been solid all year. We got Kramer back. He threw 7 shutout last night.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Harvey's got the stuff. You know, a guy who hasn't pitched much, but
Right.
you watch him out there and just electric stuff. So Molina, an older guy, kind of solidifies that rotation for us, an innings eater. So that starting pitching has been good for us.
Yeah, you guys have been stellar in the starting department especially, and you guys have plenty of young, talented players who are on their way up throughout this organization. Thank you so much, Buck Britton, for joining us here at the Perch. Thanks for letting me take a spot here right next to you where your spot is in the dugout. We appreciate it.